Hello once again, and welcome to Learn Python 3 the Hard Way, Exercise 11. This is where we finally get out of the mode of printing things and start asking people questions. So in the exercise, I introduce you to the input function. So the input function is basically just a way to ask the user stuff. There's multiple ways you can use it, so we'll be covering that in every exercise, or not every exercise, but exercises after this. But first off, we're just going to start off with a simple, how tall are you, how old are you, that kind of thing. So if I do Python ex11, like that, all right, how old are you? I am now 42, soon to be 43. I'm 6 foot 2 inches tall, and I weigh 190 pounds. All right, so I'm 42 years old, weigh 190 pounds, and let me just go ahead and max that out so you can see it. Max this out so we can see it. All right, pretty easy. How this works is you've already seen this end operation. And what that's going to do is it gives us a little space there after the question mark and doesn't go to the new line. Now, once we do that, we have a variable and we ask with input, basically stop, Python pauses, waits for you to type it in. Whatever I type in, it collects up and returns back to here, which gets assigned to age. In this case, it's always going to return a string. That's pretty much it. It doesn't really do much more than that. You already know format strings. You already know pretty much everything else in here, so that's a fairly straightforward exercise. Now, a question that always comes up with this is, how do I get a number? It's a little advanced, but basically you have to put your input inside of another function that takes its input and converts it to a number. So we're basically using int, which stands for integer. And if I rerun this script and give it the same input, it should pretty much just produce the same output. You wouldn't really know much of a difference. See, by this you can't tell. The difference comes if I put in something that's not a number for how old I am. Then I get an invalid literal for int with base 10. So what that's basically saying is, when I call int right there, and back in the code right there, when I use int, put it around that, I'm telling Python, take whatever comes from input and try to turn it into an integer before assigning it to age. The problem is int throws a little fit if you give it something that is not a number. That's good because, you know, if you're expecting a number, then it should convert. But in later exercises, we'll figure out how to recover from that error and then ask again. Okay, so that's one way to break it already. Other things, you could... Oh no, let's do that. Let's go int like that. And what we can do is we can do print. We can go... age. So let's say age is wrong. For some reason, you keep getting the age wrong. You think it's a string and it's an integer. Well, use the repr function on it, like that. So call it with repr. Pass age to repr is another way to say that. Representation is what that means. And that's going to give you the Python mode for it. So when I do 45, and I can just type junk for that. Oh, did I save it? Really common thing. Did not save it. Try it one more time. 42. All right. And see, it says age is 42. So we know it's probably an integer because if it was a string, it would have quotes around it when we did repr. So let me do this. See? Quotes right around it. So that's one way for you to get quick debugging to see what type of variable is. There's other ways to find out the type. So the type basically means, is it a string? Is it an integer? Is it a floating point number? Is it some other type of thing? And we get deep into that towards the end of the book, where we talk about something called object-oriented programming. But for now, you can find out if it's an integer or a string by using repr. Okay, that's the end of exercise 11. I'll move on to exercise 12 once you've gone through all this and figured it all out.